Hi again. This is part 4 of our visit with Pinchas Lapide and Jurgen Moltmann. We're concentrating on Lapide's contribution to this book, Jewish Monotheism and Christian Trinitarian Doctrine. We're on page 61. Here's where Lapide's struggle with the Trinity is explained. I also understand it when Jurgen Moltmann says that for him the Trinity in no way begins with Nicaea or Constantinople, but that rather he understands it from Golgotha as the crucifixion event. Here the sentence that the Father gives himself over to, or paradoken, to rely upon, to give over, the Son through the Spirit, serves as an example for me, but I do not perceive here the Trinity. That is not the correct word, because in my feelings and thoughts it does not appear to me as such. All my Jewish being speaks against it. All my life experiences, including Auschwitz, even if I was not there, forces me to a theological rethinking. I belong to the Auschwitz generation, which has to deal with the mass Golgotha in our days. As such, I can sense this crucifixion, contradicting almost all rabbinical exegeses, as a kind of evidence of the self-sacrificing love of the divinity. It is not easy. However, what I find really difficult is the separation of God from himself, which, as you, that is Jurgen Moltmann, rightly say, Rosenzweig maintains. It is difficult for me to grasp the notion that God divides himself. The famous citation of Isaiah, to which many mystics in Judaism refer, that is Isaiah 57 verse 15, literally concerns God. I live in the heights, and in good English that means transcendent, and in the holy place, and that means in the temple of Jerusalem, and with those who are oppressed and of contrite spirit. Here I can only say that this threefold indwelling of God, which, however, so completely eludes all human logic, melts into a unity in the faith world of Judaism. We know of no contradiction between the immanence and the transcendence of God. We know of no contradiction between prayer and command, between ethics and mysticism. For the God who dwells in the highest heavens and was present in the holy place, as long as it still stood, and at the same time proclaimed to the contrite God's being with them, is for me not a divisible God, or, as Rosenzweig said, a God of self-distinction. God is the incomprehensible one, so that our tiny human brain cannot comprehend this all-unity, and therefore divides it into two, or into three. That is not only Christian, it is true also for certain circles within Judaism, which go as far as 10. The Kabbalists have a 10-level theology. That strikes normal Jews, like myself, as illogical, and precisely therefore, perhaps, it also belongs in the faith world of Israel. In other words, when I represent to myself Golgotha, then the God who suffers through the Son, one of his sons, the God who loses this Son and thereby experiences infinite pain, and all this, so to say, through the Spirit, is one and the same God. For this Spirit of God, for me, is not hypostatized, that is, separated, as in the doctrine of the Trinity, from Father and the Son. Is not hypostatized for Lapide, though, has no special existence, but in good Hebrew fashion is an emanation of God. In other words, a radiation of the one God, and is as integral a part of God as, for example, the Word of God, the love of God, or the mercy of God. I could indeed, according to this logic, as a Jew, go further and hypostatize the mercy of God and make of it a special existence. For me, that would be almost blasphemy. For me, this God, with all the various attributes, is the one and only. And if I cannot grasp that with my human intellect, so much the worse for my brain. But because of God's incomprehensibility, I am still not prepared to divide God into 2, or into 3, or into 10, so as to make God more easily presented. Thus my head often stands in contradiction to my heart. But in matters of faith, my heart has the last word. We're going to put a link on your screen to how Jehovah's Witnesses deal with the Trinity. In denying the Orthodox Trinity, the traditional Trinity, of course they construct one of their own. Another version of this same phenomenon that Lapide describes within Judaism. And next, Pinchas Lapide, an Orthodox Jew who believes Jesus rose from the dead.